This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
Welcome back. Jonathan Clark with Swervedriver, who are in the studio with us. Adam and Jimmy from the band. Let me hold this album up. Future Ruins here. It's fantastic. Now, my question is, there's some people who might say that that is Coney Island. And it is, in fact, Coney. Oh, okay.
It is Coney Island, yeah. It's a friend of ours, Spencer Bewley, who's an Englishman who lives in New York and takes photographs. And we had an idea for the sleeve, and it wasn't coming together. And at the last minute, I just suddenly saw this picture of his and said, "Could we use that?" And he was delighted to have us use it. It's a great picture.
And the back is that also Coney Island?
No, that's another one of Spencer's photographs. I'm not sure where that is, But I thought the contrast, because that's all kind of like the pylons on the back.
Right. Yeah.
Because the front, and then Spencer didn't know the name of the album, and then when he saw the image with Future Ruins, he said, "Yeah, that's great." He said, "It's really Planet of the Apes," and I kind of know what he means. It's almost like if the world collapses around us, and that's the only thing standing for future generations or something. They probably think, what the hell was this? Was this some sort of
come to think of it, yeah, it
power
is
station or something?
If you remember Planet of the Apes, the Statue of Liberty on the beach.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that, man. So congrats on making a great album. This is just a really good album. It's on repeat on my phone. Good subway music, by the way. It's very good. If I'm riding the subway and some crazy person gets on, headphones, see you later world, I'm good. I got Swervedriver.
Yeah.
Tell me, because I don't know this. I never knew this, and I've been playing Swervedriver, I think, on 3 different radio stations over the past 20-plus years or so.
Yeah, thanks for that.
In the tri-state area. Tell me about the name Swervedriver. Does it have anything to do with listening to music in cars?
Actually, it does, yeah.
Okay.
Because we used to drive around, didn't we, in my brother's car or whatever, or Jimmy's car, listening to music. And I don't know, it was quite exciting. Like things like, I remember listening to Reoccurring Dreams, the Husker Du song or whatever, yeah.
There you go.
Or Jimi Hendrix or whatever. And I don't know, for some reason, we was, it seemed more exciting listening to music in a vehicle. So, we thought the name should kind of somehow
Isn't it
represent
weird
that.
how it kind of sounds different and feels different? Because you could listen to it on your stereo at home or in your headphones, wherever. But in a car, it's just a completely different experience.
Sounds better, I think. It always sounds better. It's more kind of compressed than,
Yeah.
You can't get away from it in the car. It's like headphones in a way.
It's like a soundtrack to your commute, perhaps.
Yeah.
Are you guys still based in Oxford?
I mean, 2 of us are, 3 of us are in the UK. One of us is in New York.
Okay.
One of us, our bass player, has just come back from Melbourne.
Ah.
So rehearsing is quite a trial.
Yes. Right.
But then Mikey was in Melbourne also. Before this tour, they had a sort of rhythm section rehearsal in Melbourne. It's kind of bizarre, really.
Right, yeah. I've never been to Oxford, but for Americans, they automatically think, "Oh, great university, I'll never get in there."
Right.
But tell me about Oxford today. What's it like?
You get lots of tourists in New York, obviously, and you're trying to go about your daily business, and there's somebody there looking up with their phone, and you're like, excuse me. So Oxford's kind of similar because there are lots of tourists there,
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of the kind of international students, so it's a very international city. And I guess if you're a student there, you're delighted to be there because it's one of the most revered universities in the world or whatever. So I think it's got a positive, there's a positive sort of vibe to Oxford.
My fantasy is that if I'm walking down the street and somebody's looking at their phone, I just want to run into them and have their phone break on the sidewalk. I've never done that, but it's very frustrating sometimes. And lately, it's like you're getting out of the subway, you're walking up the stairs, and somebody in front of you is doing some clearly very important message they must get to before they reach street level. It's insane. Let's get back to this album. I love all the songs on here. Lonely Crowd Fades into the Air, Merry Winter, Drone Lover, Spiked Flower. I forgot how much I loved Swervedriver, and then I got this album and I'm like, I love that band.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, since the 90s, and on the radio stations that I was on that I was playing Swervedriver, I think the songs that we played a lot were Duel, and I think Last Train to Satansville. These are both off Mezcal Head?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've watched a lot of Swervedriver videos over the past few days, and I'm pretty sure not in any of them have I ever seen you guys staring at your shoes.
Yeah, exactly. We don't really do that. I mean,
no, I know. I'm kind of making a joke,
I don't know if anybody ever did that. I mean, and if they do, well, it's okay to look down anyway. What the fuss was about, really. Isn't it?
I mean, I've seen bands that do that, and they're not staring at their shoes, they're looking at their effects pedals to get the sounds they want. It never really bothered me because I'm there for the experience. I want the music to flow. You can do whatever you want on stage.
Yeah.
I'm not really going there to see a show. I'm there
exactly. It's like the bus driver. He looks out the front, doesn't he? He's not. You wouldn't accuse him of calling him a sort of a windscreen gazer or something. He's doing his job. He's getting you there. We're on stage. We're getting the room there as well.
Right. And then I heard a term, new gaze.
Oh God, yeah.
And black gaze.
Black gaze.
I know nothing about this stuff. But anyway, when you guys first reunited, was it about 10 years ago? Or
2008, I think. Yeah.
Were you surprised at the embrace of your fans, that there was so much love out there for Swervedriver getting back together?
Yeah, no, it was great, really. Because we didn't officially sort of break up, I suppose, and then in the intervening years, people are sort of like, are they going to do something again, or what's happening, whatever. And then finally, we kind of made the decision to get back, and because in the intervening years, that sort of there was a sort of new embrace by younger fans and stuff. So the first shows, there are lots of kids in their 20s or whatever down the front, so that was great. Because we remember going to see people who, like when the Stooges got back together, and it's unbelievable. It's like, oh my God, I'm actually going to go see the Stooges.
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
Well, I took my kids to see the Stooges. I mean, when they're like 10 and 12, because that's what happens, isn't it? You listen to your brothers or your friends or your parents' record collection. You get into that stuff. So there's always going to be a younger audience out there,
Yeah.
Charlie Watts is always amazed by it,
Right. Oh, of course. All the young kids.
16-year-olds out there, but it's always going to happen.
Yeah.
But the first sort of Reformation gig I saw was the Pixies in New York City in about 2000, whenever that was, 6 or 7 or something.
Yeah. Where was that? Beacon, or was it?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah.
Right, Beacon Theatre.
And a friend of mine who's younger, he said, "Oh my God, the Pixies are playing. We should go see." And I was like, "Yeah, I saw them back in the day." And I wasn't that excited about it, but I said, "No, I'll come along. I like them." And then there's this tangible air of sort of, as the lights went down, they were coming on, and just the crowd getting really excited, and it's like something about it, And they came on, and it was like, wow, this is actually kind of amazing, really.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when these bands get back together after a long time, that they might even be playing better.
Yeah.
They might even be, I mean, I saw the Sex Pistols, I think when did they do that? Was it the 90s?
I saw them in 2008, I think. So.
I think that was probably the year.
I quite enjoyed it. I saw it at Brixton, yeah.
Yeah, it was very tight, right?
There's no way I was going to see them at the time,
Right, yeah.
11 or something. I don't know how much they enjoyed it, because I've read Steve Jones' book, and he said they weren't, overly keen on the touring thing together.
It was all about
the cash.
Well.
I think a lot of people, if they don't do it for a while, they forget how much they used to like doing it.
Right.
And maybe they over-toured back in the day and just got a bit tired of it, and then they take some years off, and then just like,
there was a Swervedriver connection there with that Sex Pistols show, and A.D. Vines, our first bass player, was Steve Jones' guitar tech.
Okay, very cool. Jonesy's Jukebox.
Yeah.
Tell me about your first time coming to New York City. Do you remember it, and what do you remember?
Yeah, I guess it was 1990. We did 5 dates with Ned's Atomic Dustbin.
Oh, yeah.
Across, we were flying in. It was like New York, Chicago, LA at the end, San Francisco, and one other, I guess. Minneapolis, was it? Right. And we played at the Marquee, but it wasn't anything to do with the London Marquee, I guess.
I remember that. I think it was on 23rd or something like that, somewhere in the 20s on the west side.
The thing I remember about the show was the fact that we were just stupidly loud. There were people down the front, and we came on, and people just moved back. But there was one person that stayed at the front, and it was Bob Mould, and we were like,
"Oh man, come on!"
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say
he was just there at the front, and nobody else was around him.
You didn't go to Minneapolis to see Bob Mould. He came to New York to see you guys.
Yeah,
that is fantastic.
I guess we met Grant Hart in
Grant
Minneapolis.
Hart was in Minneapolis the same tour. Yeah.
And Greg Norton is coming to the show in Minneapolis coming up, because he plays in a band called Porcupine.
Okay,
Casey, who we know, Casey Virot, and so that'd be great.
Man! So did you guys get pizza when you got to New York right away, or?
I remember seeing big rats on the sidewalk.
They're still here, actually. Their ancestors, their relatives are still here. Tell me about Merry Winter, the song. I want to play that. That's the one I've been playing on this show. What more can you tell us about that one, and then we'll play it?
It's funny, because I think that was really kind of, the demo was quite mellow. I think it might have been the last song we recorded, and sort of stood there with Mikey saying, "Let's do this one." He listened to the demo and counted in quite gently. And I was like, no, it's got to be more. It's got to be more like dang, dang, dang. And then that part actually became the intro to the song because it had this good energy, you know.
Isn't that weird when that happens? Because I've heard several bands recently say, yeah, the single that a lot of people are playing was actually the last song that we did. It's just weird when that happens.
Paranoid by Black Sabbath. That was the last.
Oh, really?
Thing. Yeah. They had to get the extra 3 minutes in there. And they just came up with Paranoid, and then it became...
a little under 3 minutes, actually.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming by the show, and have fun tonight.
Thank you.
Please come back here anytime.
Thank you very much. Thanks, man.
This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.